So, but I think that there are, according to the scriptures, and if you look at Daniel and him praying for 3 weeks, waiting to be rescued, and all those kinds of things, there are territorial spirits, there are angels, there are demons, there are all kinds of things going on in the unseen realm that we get a glimpse of in this life with the state that we're in. And so I think most certainly the kingdom of God can be noticed and felt more tangibly in different
Mhm.
times and different places, depending on what strongholds have been released and dealt with. And absolutely, yes.
Okay. Are you aware of certain places where you sense the presence of God more than other places?
Well, I tend to sense his presence when I'm out in nature. I really sense
Mm.
this is his creation, his glory is revealed in it, and it speaks to me. I have a real sense of peace when I'm in nature and talking with God. I have lots of great interactions with God in those moments, and so I think the natural is certainly one place where we experience that. And I do think that in Satan's time here on earth, there's a lot of counterfeits, and a lot of society is Satan's counterfeit. And so I think depending on what we're seeing, there are other places where you sense darkness. In my work, I
Hmm.
go to lots of different places, and there are definitely places where I feel a real sense of peace, and there are other places where I feel a real sense of evil, even. And so it's very real to me to experience his kingdom or the other kingdom, Satan's kingdom,
Yeah.
depending on where I am. Yeah,
And you do real estate, so maybe you're talking about different houses that you're
that that's
showing.
yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When I go into certain houses to tour them, sometimes I feel nothing. It feels like any other house, no big deal. And then there are other places where it's just so peaceful and I don't want to leave. I love it in there, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why. And
Yeah.
then there's places. It's occasional. It's not that often, but there are occasionally places that there's just an evil presence, and I'm aware of it, and I know it's
Mm.
real, and it I don't like it.
What can we do to amplify, increase the presence of the kingdom in our lives or in the lives of people around us?
Well, first of all, believe that it's real. Believe that there are two
Mm.
kingdoms and that we have an option. We always have an option which kingdom we want to live in. Um, I would say the second that I'm learning and relearning the value and importance of receiving forgiveness and giving forgiveness. In my prayers every morning, I'm regularly receiving forgiveness and asking, and then also, Lord, who do I need to forgive? And I think that is one of the keys. Jesus talked to Peter in Matthew 19 about the keys of the kingdom, and I think one of the major keys that's often overlooked is simply forgiveness. And it's really
Hmm.
easy to walk in unforgiveness and not even realize that we're living in a resentment state. And so that's become a really big deal for me, and I hope continues to. Also, all the fruits of the spirit. If we're living in that, and the kingdom is within us, and being magnified outside of us, if as we're living in those fruits, and then practicing the presence. Good old brother Lawrence, he wrote that. It was compiled after he died, but that book, practicing the presence, like even asking Jesus to reveal the beauty, to reveal himself in a moment, to thank him for the beauty, and just to walk in his presence goes a long way toward experiencing the kingdom for me.
Okay, that's good. If someone's watching this and they have no idea what we're talking about, what advice would you give them to maybe have their first kingdom of God experience?
I would invite them to consider human history, and whether they believe the Bible is real or not, but just look at human history, and look at everything that humans have done to try and find fulfillment and contentment apart from God, and then look at the people that they know who are really walking in fulfillment and contentment with God, and be honest about what you see there. And of course, nobody walks in it perfectly, so that we're all flawed. But there's a real difference when you look at people's lives,
Mhm.
and I ask God to show him the kingdom, and he loves prayers like that. He's glad to do that.
Mhm.
And in fact, I can't remember the address of the verse, but it's the Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. That's wild. That's so good. He actually, like, he's not trying to hold out on us. He wants to give it to us. He's very generous.
Mhm.
we are living in an age. This present age is a collision of kingdoms, and there is the kingdom of God, and there's the kingdom of Satan, and there's really no middle ground. And in any given moment, we're walking in the reality, and as we're walking in the kingdom, we're going to find ourselves in conflict with the kingdom of this world. It's just going to happen. And as we're walking in the kingdom and that conflict happens, we need to practice living in the authority of Christ so that we can expand the kingdom as he would have us to, but only by his authority and in his presence and with what he has. We don't want to go doing all these things that we think we're like through his presence is how we do it. But there is a real war, and it's easy to live like hobbits in the Shire, looking for their next drink of ale or cheese, and just living this innocence. But while there's this war raging on, but there really is this war,
Yeah.
and if we really understand that at a deep level, then we're going to want to bring the kingdom, because that's the only safe place to be.
Yeah, I think of Dallas Willard saying the safest place that if you're in the kingdom, then you are constantly safe, even if you lose your life, which is a rather remarkable way to look at it. Um,
Yeah, and that means there must be some other much better reality that we're headed toward.
yeah, exactly.